Okay. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started here in just a few moments. Let me just share this link with everyone. Let me share this with you too, Jarvis, or Pascal. Cool. Well, welcome everyone. Really excited to have Pascal, the founder of Jarvis, joining us this morning. If you have questions throughout this, definitely drop them into the YouTube chat. Be happy to take those as we go along. Goal of this Q&A is to learn more about Jarvis Exchange, everything that they're working on. We were talking before, we've been working with each other for previously, and then finally came back around, and now that off-chain reporting is launched, it kind of fit perfect with their new launch that they're working on at Jarvis. So really excited to see their progress over the past year and everything that they're working on. Without further ado, Pascal, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Keenan, for having me.
Yeah, really excited to have you. For the audience who might not know, do you want to maybe just start with giving a brief introduction about yourself and Jarvis?
Yeah, so myself, I'm 33. You may have guessed with my accent, I'm French. So basically, I'm a DeFi lover, but also a DeFi user. I actually tried and I did Unbank myself almost 2 years ago. And I really try to stick to this discipline to live only with DeFi through DeFi. So Jarvis Network, it's a project that we have started actually a while ago. The initial idea was to enable trading of any kind of assets, any kind of markets within the same trading platform. Then we found out about smart contracts, Ethereum, and so on. And we were like, okay, maybe instead of just doing a trading platform to connect to multiple financial markets, somehow smart contracts could recreate the way brokers, the way exchanges are working. And we started working around basically a project where you could trade against liquidity pools on Ethereum. And here we are today. So we changed from just trading against liquidity pools to issuing synthetic assets against liquidity pools. And basically, I'm here today to explain you a bit how do we work, what is our roadmap, and how we use Chainlink, and how we try to fit within this DeFi ecosystem.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really exciting, everything that you're working on. And I'm interested, how did the unbanking yourself completely go? Was it possible? Are you living in France, or where are you living?
No, I don't think it will have been possible in France. I'm living in Bulgaria. First, here the cost of life is way lower, so it's easier to unbank yourself. Then I didn't really unbanked myself because I was using solutions such as WireX or Crypto.com, where I could, of course, pay regular things with fiat. But the point was to move all my wealth out from my regular bank and to only leverage from DeFi solutions. So it was very easy in 2019 because basically they were just compounds. And Nuo also, I don't know if you remember them. So I just put my assets there, they were working, and I was trying to live only through the interests that were generated. And until actually the crazy yield farming, it was, let's say that you can't make a living if you don't have a huge capital. And then, of course, the yield farming came and changed everything. And I'm still only living through my DeFi activity. But yeah, at a different level now.
The future of France, right?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Well, synthetic assets are very exciting and definitely going to be the future, and being able to use your DeFi collateral and be able to still trade what you do on a traditional market. I'm interested with Jarvis. What makes Jarvis unique compared to some of the other synthetic asset platforms that are out there today?
Yes, synthetic assets for me are one of the most interesting part of DeFi because unlike tokenized assets, you basically have a lot of flexibility. You can literally do whatever you want. You just need a price feed and someone who is okay to mint or to be the counterparty. And I like synthetic assets because my dream basically is to have all the assets within the same ledger. So let's say Ethereum, because like that you can unlock the liquidity. You can unlock everything: the liquidity of those assets, interoperability between assets. You can do crazy things. So yeah. So the way, how we are different from our project. So first, you have maybe to understand that either there are three kinds of synthetic assets. Either the one that you mint yourself. So literally, we could say that you borrow DAI. On Mirror protocol, you borrow stocks against your collateral. On UMA, you borrow whatever you want by depositing a collateral. And then you have synthetic assets that are issued against a liquidity provider. It's the case of Synthetics, for example, Deus Finance or us at Jarvis. And then you have also algorithmic synthetic assets. The way we work, if you understand Synthetics, you will understand Jarvis. So Synthetics, what they do, as a liquidity provider, you deposit SNX, and then you self-mint, so you borrow SUSD. But the cool thing with Synthetics is that after you have borrowed those SUSD, you actually become a liquidity provider. So you're going to trade somehow against everyone using the platform. But when someone wins, actually a debt is created. So in Synthetics, profits are paid by issuing debt, and that's all. Mm-hmm. In Jarvis, we don't issue debt. We are not collateralized with GRT, our token. We are collateralized as of today with USDC. After, when I will explain you the roadmap, I will explain you other cool things that we can do. But so far, because our liquid provider, they deposit USDC, and then they are the counterparty of anyone coming in the platform and who is just issuing a synthetic asset. So basically, if someone is losing, they are winning the USDC which were deposited by the liquid provider. It has pros and it has cons, of course. The cool thing with Synthetics, because it's a debt system, you have and also they have a unique liquidity pool. They have somehow infinite liquidity, and it's very easy to scale. If they want to add an asset, they just have a price feed. While with our design, we need people to deposit USDC. We cannot print it. It's not a debt system. So it's maybe more secure, more scalable, but it's more scalable. Let's say it's more healthy, but it's less scalable. And also, we do not use a unique pool to collateralize all the synthetic assets. We have chosen to have a system where each pool is siloed. So it's better for liquidity provider for a risk management point of view. Like that, you can decide on which assets you are comfortable with providing liquidity. The problem is that, of course, it's again less scalable. So we are pretty aware that we have those scalability drawback, but from the point of view of risk management, security, and stability, for us it's way better to do this way. And we hope to attract actually liquidity in order to balance the scalability issue.
That's really interesting. And so it's with each of these, say, for example, maybe like the Tesla stock or any of the other sort of pools. So they're going to just be paired with USDC only. And then liquidity providers would come in and be able to provide liquidity for those. Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited. And so is this usable now? Can people go on there? It's on mainnet?
Yeah, it's on mainnet. For now, we are focusing on Forex. I will explain you why just after. But yeah, right now we are undergoing a few security audits. And until all those audits are completed, we are actually limiting the protocol. So as of today, you cannot mint more than $150,000 worth of synthetic assets. And in the UI also there are some limits, like you cannot trade above $500 worth of synthetic assets. But those limits will be lifted as soon as the audits are completed. We're going to add more liquidity. We also have partners who are willing to add more liquidity in the system. And then we will go, we're going to follow our roadmap to allow more people to become liquidity provider. Also, we will allow a different minting system where you will be able to mint synthetic assets not against a liquidity pool, but by borrowing. So actually, probably one of the first assets we may add will be the link token. So you will be able to self-mint synthetic assets by locking your link token in collateral. And that's pretty much it. Something important to mention is the USDC. It's not a decentralized token. So of course you have this risk where maybe one day Circle will say, we don't like this. It's not very compliant. So either you stop or we freeze it. So the thing is that for now, at the point of the project, we prefer to deal with a regulatory risk that is easy to anticipate rather than a technical risk like for the DAI, which is of course complicated to anticipate. And then the fact that we are using USDC has a very cool advantage. So the way it works at the smart contract level, you as a user, you send 100 USDC to the contract. And in exchange, you receive $100 worth of synthetic assets. Under the hood, what's happening is that when you deposit those 100 USDC, the liquidity provider is also adding liquidity there. So for example, 50 USDC. And basically, if you win money, you win, as I said, the money of the liquidity provider. But the cool thing is that we can also, in a single transaction, do some cool atomic trades. So for example, if you want to buy with your J Euro, which is our euro, synthetic euro, if you want to buy wrapped Bitcoin or Ether, even though we do not have synthetic Bitcoin or synthetic Ether, what will happen atomically is that basically you're gonna burn those J Euro, release USDC at the Oracle price, so without slippage, and then this USDC will be used to purchase wrapped Bitcoin, for example, on Uniswap. So doing so, it means that all our synthetic assets have the exact same liquidity and the exact same slippage as USDC. And this is pretty cool because our goal there is to increase the synthetic asset offering. So as I said, right now we have Euro, Swiss franc, and pound. But next, what we'd like to do is, for example, to add the Naira, the Nigerian currency, or maybe something in Asia, like Japanese yen or Chinese yen. And the cool thing for Nigeria, for example, is that if we launch a synthetic Naira and we allow people to burn this Naira for the equivalent in USDC, and then with this USDC to buy using an AMM, wrap Bitcoin, suddenly people in Nigeria, they can buy or sell Bitcoin at the real market price, not anymore at the premium price that is happening there in other countries as well. So it's one of the coolest things according to me in our design. It's just to be able to leverage from the USDC liquidity.
Yeah, that's fascinating, and it really opens up access to a whole lot more synthetic assets. What are some of the ones that your community are looking for the most? Are you seeing a lot of these other foreign currencies, and you think that could be a good go-to-market strategy, or where are you looking to kind of roll out everything, and what's the go-to-market strategy?
So our community is mainly composed by French people and French-speaking people. So of course they were more into Euro, but I think the best strategy for us after increasing the liquidity of European currencies will really be to focus on some specific area like Nigeria, as I said, South Africa, maybe also some French-speaking country who are using a currency called the franc CFA, which is pegged to the euro, so it's quite easy to do. And then Southeast Asia, so Philippines, Vietnam, and so on. Because again, what we want to provide them, first, is to work with local companies there to try to bridge fiat and synthetic assets. So for example, if we work with someone in Nigeria and we succeed to create a fiat on-ramp where people could purchase synthetic Naira using their own Naira, then it means that with let's say $100 worth of Naira, you buy $100 worth of synthetic Naira, but you can burn for 100 USDC, and then you can finally buy whatever you want. So we can bring to those countries access to DeFi, access to the same liquidity than us in Europe and so on, where we can easily purchase ETH or USDC or whatever. So those will be my primary focus. So it may not sound sexy. It's true that we won't do synthetic stocks for now. We won't do synthetic crypto or commodities. It is on our roadmap, but our first specific target and our mission is first to enable Forex within DeFi, financial system. And it's a bit stupid that it's only around the dollar for now. I mean, if we really want DeFi to scale, if we want to onboard millions of people, we need to speak the same language. We need to provide them their own local currencies. And this is what basically wants to do. After, when, and if we succeed to do what we want to do, so to build this Forex market within DeFi, then we're going to have a big network effect, a big user base, and we could launch after stocks, commodities, and everything else, because we could leverage from what we have built before. But for now, we clearly want to focus on Forex, and African and Southeast Asian country will be the primary goal.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Forex is huge, and there's not like that go-to place for that right now in DeFi.
Yeah.
So we rolled out, or Jarvis rolled out with the launch of off-chain reporting with Chainlink. How did that affect Jarvis's roadmap, and how are you able to leverage OCR now that that's available for you, and how does that make a difference with your platform?
So first, because we use a design with liquidity provider like synthetics, of course we can be front run. I mean, liquidity provider could be front run. OCR help us to increase the frequency of updates. More updates means that it is way more complicated to do front running on the layer 1 on Ethereum. Of course, on other scaling solution, it's not that an issue. So first thing, it helps us to build a more robust system for liquidity provider. Also, our goal, as I said, is to have two designs. One where you can issue synthetic assets yourself, so basically you borrow, and another one where you issue against a liquidity provider, which means that when we have an asset on an AMM, so if our J-Euro is listed on SushiSwap, for example, or Curve or Balancer, and if someone wants to do an arbitrage, they will buy on the AMM, sell on our exchange, or vice versa. And if we have a lot more of updates thanks to the OCR, then it means that we can have more frequent arbitrage. More frequent arbitrage means a better peg, but it also means more trading fees for us and more trading fees for liquidity provider on the AMM. So basically for us, it helps us to have a more, let's say, stable system, a stronger peg, and for liquidity provider to reduce considerably the risk of front running.
Very exciting. Yeah. It's crazy how quick things are going to be able to update now and progress, especially with Forex and the different synthetic assets that you're kind of aiming for. To kind of wrap things up here, if the community wants to follow your progress and ask questions, where do you primarily hang out? Where's your team at, and how can they join your community?
Most of the time we're on Discord. I mean, we do also have a Telegram group, but at some point it was easier to use Discord because you can have multi-channel and so on. So yeah, I think the best way is just to follow us on Discord. You can also, of course, go on Telegram, but it's where on Discord it's where everything is happening.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to drop those links for everyone in the description afterwards. And finally, to wrap things up, do you have any asks from the community who's listening in? Any requests as you're rolling out this platform? What's the best way for people to help your progress and move forward?
So the best way, we will launch pretty soon a DAO, which will of course handle everything regarding the protocol. So it's just to come and start to educate themselves about what we do, because Ethereum, so it's the name of the protocol, it's not that easy at first to understand, but also it is very flexible. As I said, right now you can mint synthetic asset against a liquidity pool. After, we're gonna launch the borrowing pools where anyone, for example, with Link token can come and borrow J-Euro. Then we'll also launch derivative pools where you can actually do leverage or options. I mean, we can do actually many things. So the best thing is to come to educate about what we do, to ask questions, and if you want to help us, the best is basically to become an ambassador or a user, liquidity provider. Pretty soon we will also start our farming program where you will be able to mint J-Euro, JGBP, J-Swiss franc, whatever, to deposit them into some AMM like Balancer or SushiSwap. and to earn some juicy yield here. So yeah, most likely the best way will be to participate to those programs and just to follow us and interact with us. And that's all.
Awesome. Yeah, very exciting. And drop all those links and definitely jump into their Discord, help them out for everyone that's listening in. And otherwise, Pascal, thanks a lot for joining today. And it's exciting to see your progress. We were talking before the whole year that everything that you guys have been working towards. So this is really exciting and really happy for you guys.